Coming up, a University of Iowa official weighs in on the coronavirus outbreak. And later, information on the Trump administration's new green card policy.
The men's basketball team had a barn burner last night and got the win over Wisconsin. More for you in sports.
It's looking like we're in for a pretty dreary week. Stay tuned to find out more.
All that and more coming up on this Tuesday morning edition of DITV News. Don't go anywhere. DITV News starts right now. Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Bailey Chihan. 27,000 people have been infected with the 2019 novel coronavirus strain. The outbreak is believed to have started in an animal market that sells live bats in Wuhan, China. The novel strain of the coronavirus is 96% related to the strain found in bats. Officials are still learning how it entered humans. So far, there have been 5 confirmed cases of the coronavirus in the United States. UI professor Dr. Stanley Perlman has studied the coronavirus for 38 years.
From the people who came back from China to the U.S., we know that it takes a little while to get symptoms. What we think, and this may change as we know more about it, but we think you have a fever, you have trouble breathing, and then you end up having a pneumonia. So does everybody who has that who comes into the University of Iowa, should they be worried about having this new virus? No, there's not even any in the state. But if someone came from Wuhan and came to my clinic and said, just came from Wuhan, I have a fever now, I'm having trouble breathing, then you'd have to put it on your list. This virus, the only number we have now is it has about a 3% mortality. But obviously if you're going to have tens of thousands of cases, that's a lot of people. There's no specific antiviral therapies that have been shown to work against any of these severe human coronaviruses, and there's none against this one.
The current treatment process for the virus is managing the patient's symptoms and keeping the patient hydrated. 82 people have died of the coronavirus so far. The Supreme Court recently ruled on the Trump administration's new policy regarding the status of immigrants' green cards. The vote was 5-4 and allows immigration officials to deny green cards to legal immigrants over their use of public benefits such as Medicaid, food stamps, and housing vouchers. In other words, immigrants applying for permanent residency may be denied if the government believes that they could be reliant on public programs. Roughly 544,000 people apply for green cards annually. Due to the new policy, 382,000 immigrants are subject to new review. I know it was pretty cold when I came in this morning. What's new in weather, Aisha?
This morning, we will be experiencing some chilly weather conditions as the temperature sits at a cooling 25 degrees with some partial cloud coverage. The high for today will be 28 degrees with a low of 21. As we move toward the evening, temperatures will drop to 23 degrees, so make sure to bundle up if you plan on going for a late night stroll. This week, we will see some temperatures above the freezing point and a continual partial cloud coverage. While Wednesday will sit at a high of 30 degrees and Thursday a high of 28, Friday and Saturday are looking to be much warmer with a high of 35 degrees. Stay warm and get ready for a more enjoyable weekend. Bailey, back to you.
Much like the rest of the state, campus has been alive with political activity for the last few months, and all of that tension is coming to a head. But students still aren't sure where to get their information. DITV News Director Emily Callahan has more.
This upcoming Monday, February 3rd, caucuses will be taking place across the state. And like thousands of other Iowans, Hawkeyes will be gathering to support their candidates. However, students still aren't sure how to get their information about candidates or which sources they can trust.
Most of the time, I just look at their websites because a lot of times they have, what they want and what they're trying to push and their platform.
In high school, they told us to kind of watch a conservative, a liberal, and like a unbiased kind of thing, so that's what I try to do.
Mostly I just Googled stuff, and whatever came up that I found interesting, I just kind of read.
I kind of plan on trying to watch the news more. I'm really bad at that, but I know they can give off some faulty information too.
But that's where projects like the Poynter Institute's MediaWise come in. MediaWise visited Iowa City last Friday with activist and internet sensation Tyler Oakley to talk to students about how they can be smart with their media consumption.
Sometimes I'll listen to a story on NPR and I'm like, cool, I just spent 20 minutes reaffirming my own beliefs. What did that really do? So I find it a lot more helpful to listen to actual dialogue between people that maybe don't agree.
Even so, students still feel it's up to them to figure out the facts for themselves.
It really comes down to who you can trust.
If you don't do your own research, it's definitely bad.
People are always going to get information that's a little bit biased, and they just got to do their best to figure out what's actually true.
Reporting from the University of Iowa, Emily Callahan, DITV News.
Now it's time to talk basketball with Dallas in the sports studio. Dallas?
Thanks, Bailey. Last night in Carver Hawkeye Arena, the Iowa men's basketball team saw a tough home test against the Wisconsin Badgers. Down by 6 late in the game, redshirt freshman guard C.J. Frederick nailed this huge three to send their fans to their feet. Fellow freshman guard Joe Toussaint shined for the first time in Big Ten play as he delivered this and one to tie the game at 57. Iowa pulled away down the stretch thanks to their free throw shooting and a costly flagrant foul on Wisconsin's Brad Davison that ultimately cost them the game. Iowa went on to win the game 68-62.
I think we just came together in a timeout and we just said we wanted to string together some stops, and I think we really got physical going towards the rim, and we were in the bonus early and we did a good job of getting to the free throw line, and then once that opened up, we hit a couple big shots.
I thought we defended coming down the stretch. I mean, 23-5 to end the game is typically more an indication of your defense than it is your offense, and I would say that's the case.
Up next for Iowa basketball, they'll strap up and head out to the east to College Park to take on Maryland Terrapins for a very tough road game on Thursday the 30th. After that, the Hawks come back to Carver for another difficult game against the Fighting Illini for the first game of February. But a Hawkeye win isn't the only thing that has the team buzzing. DITV sports reporter Zach Lohman has more on how one player had a breakout game.
With Iowa trailing most of the game against Wisconsin, someone needed to step up. And no, it wasn't Luka Garza. Freshman Joe Toussaint gave the spark Iowa needed in the second half to get the offense rolling.
For him, his decision-making today was spectacular. I mean, that's who he has to be. When to go, when not to go.
Veteran leadership from Connor McCaffrey has helped Joe Toussaint throughout the season and helped him grow in a leadership role.
He had a stretch where I could tell he was really down in terms of his confidence. So I took him aside, just grabbed him, put my arms around him, and told him, you're a great player. We need you to be the player you can be.
And he showed that to everyone in attendance last night. Reporting from Carver Hawkeye Arena, Zach Lohman, DITV Sports.
Iowa is going to have to rely on good point guard play down the stretch as they head to the heart of the Big Ten Conference play. I'm really excited to see what the team's got, and that's all I got for you today in the sports studio. Check back tomorrow for a preview of the tennis team as they prepare to begin their season. Bailey, back to you at the desk.
In honor of Super Bowl Sunday, Bush's Beans has decided to create a 70-layer dip and break the Guinness World Record. 19 people spent 12 hours each making the dip that weighs more than 1,000 pounds and blows away the previous record of 540 pounds. The dip has 10 different layers, such as Fiesta, Veggie, and Cuban, just to name a few. You may be asking yourself what Bush's Beans plans on doing with all of that dip. The company decided to donate the record-breaking dip to a charitable organization. And that's all we have for you today on this Tuesday morning edition of DITV News. Be sure to head over to dailyiowan.com for all your latest news between Monday and Friday. And if that isn't enough of the Daily Iowan for you, be sure to check out our print edition of the news on stands now. For DITV News, I'm Bailey Chehan. Have a great day, Iowa City.